Hey, Shalom. We'll get started in just a few moments.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now. We need to clean house of all of the warmongers and America last globalists and the deep state, the Pentagon, the State Department, and the national security industrial complex. One of the reasons I was the only president in generations who didn't start a war is that I was the only president who rejected the catastrophic advice of many of Washington's generals, bureaucrats, and the so-called diplomats who only know how to get us into conflict, but they don't know how to get us out. For decades, we've had the very same people, such as Victoria Nuland and many others just like her, obsessed with pushing Ukraine toward NATO, not to mention the State Department support for uprisings in Ukraine. These people have been seeking confrontation for a long time, much like the case in Iraq and other parts of the world, and now we're teetering on the brink of World War III. And a lot of people don't see it, but I see it. And I've been right about a lot of things. They all say Trump's been right about everything.
The Lord of hosts mustereth the host of the battle. They come from a far country, from the end of heaven, even the Lord, and the weapons of his indignation to destroy the whole land. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt, and there shall be afraid, pangs and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. But the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eye shall not spare children. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. It shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But wild beasts of the desert shall lie there, and the houses shall be full of doleful creatures, and owls shall dwell there, and satyrs shall dance there. And wild beasts of the islands shall cry in their desolate houses, and dragons in their pleasant palaces. And her time is near to come, and her days shall not be prolonged.
World War III has never been closer than it is right now.
Hey, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem Rakakwadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father. His true name in the Hebrew is Yahweh, and his son's name, who the world internet called Jesus Christ, the real name in the Hebrew is Yahweh Shah. Also give a praise, honor, and glory unto the Yahweh Kakwadash, the Holy Spirit, which is the force and entity that makes this edification possible. I want to say Shalom to all you sincere-hearted Akim wa Akwath. That's you brothers and sisters making bodies a living sacrifice on a daily basis in this wicked and adulterous generation. I also want to give double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught us truth and who rule well. And as you can see, the title of this lesson this morning, all right, this is the worst time to be found naked. All right, this is the worst time to be found naked. And, that term being found naked, if you will, isn't when it speaks about in the scriptures, it's not speaking about, being found naked in the physical, speaking about a mindset, and when you look at the majority of the people, of the nation of Israel, which consists of us so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Americans, our people are naked, man. All right. And we're moving in, well, we're in war, what good does it do a soldier if he's in the battlefield and he's completely naked? He has no type of armor on, he has no type of protection, right? And see, those of the elect of the nation of Israel, right, those that have repented and still repent, by making their bodies a living sacrifice, self-denial, living out this word in truth and sincerity, right? They're clothed with the armor of Yahweh Shema Shah that's spoken about in Ephesians 6 chapter. You know how you have the helmet of salvation, right? That goes into, you have salvation on your mind, right? That's the goal. You have the breastplate of righteousness, which is this truth, right? That breastplate protects many vital organs, your ribs, your heart. You have the belt of truth, right? Which that's what girds up our loins, our minds. That's what holds us together. It's this truth. We have the shoes of the gospel, which that's the message that we come with, man. All right. We have the sword of the spirit, which is the word. And we have the shield. It says above all, having the shield of faith, man. See? So that's what the elect has and will continue to keep, man, as we go into these times of battle. And it's only going to get more intensified, man. We see these particular things. Those of us that's been keeping watch, right, as Yahweh Shai has commanded us, we see, these particular events in the earth, man. It's intensifying. You got these banks, man, like they're it's an all-out assault, against these citizens, man. And see, you got these banks over there in Silicon Valley the other day, right? They just I believe it's like $9.9 billion, no, $1 trillion. Salakia. Elder Ariala had sent a clip of a video that he did about a month ago, but he was playing a video in that video that he did, and a lady was breaking down, how I believe it was like $9.9 trillion, that was in Silicon, that's in Silicon Valley, right? And those dollars, they were not insured by these particular banks and financial institutions that put their money inside of Silicon Valley, man. So the ripple effects that's going to have, right? That's going to come down into the inhabitants of the earth, man. All right, these major companies that put money in that into those financial institutions, we're going to feel it. All right. So as the title of the lesson says, all right, this is the worst time to be found naked. Now the question is, what made us naked? Who made us naked? All right, because when you consider the garden, going back to the garden in Genesis, the 3rd chapter, it speaks about how starting with the woman, starting with Eve, by partaking into the philosophies of the serpent, eating that wicked fruit, all right, that then Adam partook of it, listening to the woman, and then we were found naked. They were found naked, and they tried to sew fig leaves, man. And that's going into how they, tried to use those other particular philosophies and ideologies to cover up, right, to replace the true garments, if you will, that Yahweh Shema Shah gave us originally, right? So let's get this in the book of Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter and the 15th verse, right? Because Esau Edom, he's the reincarnation of that serpent, if you will, right? And he's still doing the same thing today, making people naked with his philosophies, man. This is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 15, right? It says, woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, right? And when you read, what is that, Jeremiah the 51st chapter, let's grab that real quick. This is Jeremiah chapter 51 and verse 7. Babylon have been a golden cup in the Lord's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine therefore the nations are mad. That's right. So Babylon the Great, which is none other than America, which is ran by the Edomites, the self-proclaimed white man, Psalms of 137th chapter, right, has done what? Made all the earth drunken with their wine, with their philosophies. Habakkuk 2 and 15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink, right, which is Esau, Edom, as we just proved, Babylon the Great, America, that puttest thy bottle to him and makest him drunken also, that thou mayest look on their nakedness. See that thou mayest look on their nakedness. And this is how, right, our people that are not of the elect are going to be found walking naked in this times, because they're drunk with the ideologies and philosophies of this setup of the beast system. Our people are completely drunk and naked. You know, you got to just envision it in your mind, you know. And you got somebody out there, you know, at a club. They butt ass naked. They drunk. They throwing up all over the place. You know, they're completely they've completely lost themselves. And see, spiritually extrapolating, this is the worst time for that to happen, man. And that can easily happen, right, if you don't stay on your watch, if we don't continue to watch as Yahweh Shah commanded us to, man. Let's grab this here in the book of Revelation, chapter 16 and verse 15. Right, it says, behold, as a matter of fact, let's grab verse 12, and we're going to skip down to verse 15 for the context, man. You know, it says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. And is this not happening? Right? is the Euphrates River right now as we speak, is it not damn near completely dried up? It's so dried up to now there people are walking, they finding caves on the riverbed, man. See? And these particular, and the Lord he's poured out his vial upon it, you know, by the angels, you know, to do exactly right what he's commissioned for it to be purposed for, is basically so to the Valley of Jehoshaphat, or the Valley of Jehoshaphat can be fought over there. Yahweh Shaphat, Joel the 3rd chapter. Right now, in context of this, because this is during times of World War III. We're going to skip down here, verse 15. And clearly, we're in World War III. Clearly, you know, that's why I played the intro video, you know, where you had Trump, you know, he's saying, you know, Biden said it about 2 months ago, you know, and it's evident, man. All right. So verse 15, it says, this is Yahweh Shah speaking. Behold, I come as a thief. Right. And the thief, the whole point of him, or the way a thief comes, he comes unexpectedly, man. A thief's not going to come when you're going to be at your highest level of awareness. You know, the sun is out, you know, he knows that your car's in the driveway. No, he's going to come when you away from the house, or if you deep in sleep, like around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, around midnight. See, and we're approaching, you know, midnight, man. It says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. See, and as we just got in Habakkuk 2 and 15, what makes you naked and who makes you naked? Esau, Edom, and his philosophies, that wine. And this is why he's going harder and harder in his death culture. This is why he's going harder and harder in the alphabet community. Right, going harder and harder in endorsing, you know, degenerate ways throughout the planet Earth, because he wants to have our people, right? He ultimately wants the elect, right, to be disenchanted, you know. But there's no, what is that? Numbers 23. There's no enchantment against Jacob. See, right? It says, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. Now I want to grab this word watcheth, because he says, blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments. And this the spirit, the servants of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah, has to stay in all the way up until Yahweh Shah comes, And when you consider, in the ancient world, you're on your watch, you're in the watch, a watchman, he's in the watchtower. Yeah, you're gonna have periods of time to where you may get sleepy, but you got to shake it off, stand up, do whatever we got to do, to get invigorated, to get roused back up to where we don't fall asleep while we're on this watchtower, man, because a lot of things are popping off. And at any second we lose sight of what's happening. Hey, you'll go back into the world. And as Yahweh Shah says, it's going to be you're going to be left off in a worse state than what you were at the first before you came into the truth. So we're in dire straits, man. We got to continue to do what we do. Whether you're sleepy, whether you're tired, whether you feel good, right? This is a commandment. So this word watch in the Greek, it says Strong's G 1127 Gregorio, which that's where you get that the term, the Gregorian calendar, right? It just means a time, and we're doing what? We're measuring the times. We're watching. 2nd Ezra 9th chapter. It says to watch, metaphor, give strict attention to. Yeah, we should have strict attention to the things that's going on around us, man. We shouldn't be ignorant, of the environment that we're in. Let's grab this in the book of Sirach, the 5th chapter. It says, where is that at? Maybe 3. Let me get that in Sirach, the 3rd chapter. She got here. Give me 1 second. It's Sirach 5. Salakia. Yeah, it's Sirach chapter 5 and verse 15. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small." That's right. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or small." And see, the way we were brought up is, not giving a damn about anything unless it involves us directly. It involves our little petty lives, man. But see, as Yahweh Shema Shah has woken us up to this truth, man, he's given us his word, right? It comes with the heavy responsibility. It comes with us. We have to know. We can't be like the average civilians, man. As a beloved brother, Yawan down here in Dallas all the time says, he says, we're auditioning for kingship. We're auditioning for kingship, man. And the king, he has to know what's going on amongst, the ranks, if you will, amongst what's happening in the globe. So he can know how to move, right? This is going back, Revelation 16 and verse 15. We're getting that word watch in the Greek. It says, metaphor, give strict attention to, be cautious. That's right. Be cautious, meaning you're alert, you're aware. It says active, right? So along with watching, it just doesn't mean that you're just sitting there, just watching. No, along with watching, you're active, man. And it makes me think about the book of Nehemiah, the 4th chapter, right? When they were, when the Lord pretty much showed favor upon Nehemiah through the king, through that Persian king at the time, to where he allowed us to go. He allowed Nehemiah to go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the city, rebuild the walls, right? Well, when you read this chapter, chapter 4, this whole book is very beautiful, man. I've been kind of going through it here as of late. But the 4th chapter, goes into how we were building the wall, and you had particular heathens. You had Sanballat. I can't remember his name, or I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but you had Ammonite king, and you had a Moabite. Well, not king, but you had a Ammonite and a Moabite They're pretty much scoffing against us rebuilding the city walls, right? And they're trying to oppose us, trying to pretty much commence war against us as we were building. And scripture speak. Let's grab this here in the book of Nehemiah 4:17. They which build it on the wall, and they that bear burdens, and those that laid it, every one with one of his hands wrought in the work. So everybody had their hand to a tool, right? And with the other hand held a weapon. So one hand you had the tool building up the wall, and the other hand you had a weapon, you had a sword. And that's the position we find ourselves in now as the tabernacle of David is being rebuilt, right? And this is all a part of us watching, because when you read this chapter, Nehemiah set up watchmen, to pretty much, and he gave them trumpets, to where as the building was being, erected, you had men that was dispatched to watch, man. So this all ties back into that word watch, as we got in the Greek in Revelation 16:15. That proves that as you're watching, you're active, man. You're working. All right. So it says, verse 15, for the builders, everyone had his sword girded by his side. And what's our sword in these times? The scriptures, man, the Bible, this doctrine, Hebrews 4:16. All right. So it says everyone had his sword girded by his side. I mean, you gotta have this Bible close to you, man. Right. As David says, I have hidden thy word in my heart that I may not sin against thee. It says, and he that sounded the trumpet was by me. That's right. And we're sounding the trumpet in Mount Zion, man. It says, and I said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, the work is great and large, and we are separated upon the wall, one far from another. Yeah, and that's right. This work is great. This is a huge building that's being erected, man. This is the kingdom of heaven. All right, Daniel 2:44. In the days of these kings, the Most High shall set up a kingdom. Right, it says, and we are separated upon the wall. That's right, because you got brothers all across the globe. Right, we're all working on the same wall, but we're separated geographically, if you will. Right, but what brings us together? Verse 20. In what place thereof you hear the sound of the trumpet, resort ye thither unto us. See that? So with this sound of the trumpet going out, which is this word, the watchman, right? This is what gathers us together, man. And it says what? Our power shall fight for us. Yahweh shall fight for us, man. All right, so there's a reward in watching. There's a reward in doing the Lord's work as he commanded. It says, so we labored in the work, and half of them held the spears from the rising of the morning till the stars appeared. Likewise, at the same time, I said unto the people, let everyone with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us. That's right. And we're in the night season right now, man. We're in the spiritual night season. That's why Paul says in Romans 13:11, it says, in that, knowing the time. See, you got to know the time. How do you know the time? You got to watch. Right? It says that now it is high time to awake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. The night is far spent. See, the night is far spent, which Esau, Edom, is the night. He's the darkness. And it's far spent, meaning he's almost out of the way. The day is at hand. And who's that day star? Yahweh Shai, Revelation chapter 22. So Yahweh Shai, the morning time is coming. It says, let us therefore cast off the works of darkness, meaning get away from these evil deeds. Stop doing these evil deeds that we once did. And let us put on the armor of light, which is this truth. Going back to Nehemiah 4:22, that in the night they may be a guard to us and labor on the day. Yeah, and we're also, right, vice versa, because the Lord works in twos, man. We're also in the day season, right? As Yahweh Shai says, I must work the works while it's day. Let me see if I can find that. John 9. Yep, John 9:4. Says, this is Yahweh Shai speaking. He says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. That's right. That's ultimately going to what? The times of the famine of the word. That's coming very soon, to where, you know, we're not gonna be out there working, you know, laboring, you know, going out there holding camp, doing these daily lessons, man. You know, the night is coming to where nobody can work, man. Power grid failures is about to happen. You know, that's going to be another reason why they're going to, or another excuse for them to roll out the CBDC, a full out blown, you know, digital financial digital system, if you will. All right, some dark times are at hand, spiritually and physically, man. It's going to be, hey, because what did the Lord say in 2 Ezra 15? I shall plague Egypt as before. And what's one of the plagues that befell Egypt? Great darkness, gross darkness, man. Scriptures speak about it. It was so dark that you can feel the darkness. Even if you was to light a fire, you wouldn't even see the fire. That's how dark it was for the Egyptians. But the nation of Israel, we had light in Goshen. See, and this is the spiritual Goshen, as we was breaking down into a lesson the other day, being this truth. Let's read this one more time. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. So, like, give me 1 second. Okay, yeah. It says, I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. And this is why we should be going harder than ever in this truth right now, man. You know, I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. We should be going harder than ever in this truth, because we only get one shot at this, man. This is our, if we're part of the elect, this is our last regeneration. This is our last reincarnation. So why not go hard as you can, man? Because shortly we ain't gonna be able to do this. We're not gonna be teaching each other in the kingdom. We're gonna be in the new covenant, you know. And Scripture says, we shall no longer teach every man his neighbor, know ye the Lord. For all shall know the Lord, from the least unto the greatest. All right. So while we still can, and while, you know, the Lord has made provision and been gracious unto us to rebuild the temple, to rebuild the city, right? Just as he was gracious unto Ezra and to Nehemiah, right? See, the Lord, hey, because the Lord, you got to remember, yeah, although Esau is the goddamn devil that the Bible speaks about, and he's the wicked, right? But see, the Lord works upon the minds of the kings, man. Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1, right? And see, the Lord, as evil and bent Esau is, the Lord made this man to create, I wouldn't say create, because Jake, we create the internet, but made this man to where we have access to the internet. We can actually go out there to the highways and byways and preach this word. See, that's the Lord showing favor upon us in the land of our captivity. So what? We can rebuild the spiritual, rebuild the temple and rebuild our kingdom, man. Just as we're reading in the book of Nehemiah. But the time is coming to where the Lord's going to fully harden this man's heart, just like he did Pharaoh, and it's going to be no mercy, man. But see, the Lord's orchestrating that. But at that point, there's nothing this man can do, because at that point, the elect is already sealed. You know, those that got this truth, they got it. And those that don't, they don't got it. So let's go back to Nehemiah 4:22. We're going to read it again. Likewise, at the same time, said I unto the people, let everyone with his servant lodge within. So, like, give me 1 second. I got to make sure I can hear my phone, because I'm on call. So like, yeah. All right. It says, let everyone with his servant lodge within Jerusalem, that in the night they may be a guard to us and labor on the day. So neither I, and this is Nehemiah speaking. He says, so neither I, nor my brethren, nor my servants, nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes. See, none of us put off our clothes. So as the rebuilding was being done, right, they weren't found naked, man. It was wartime. You had these heathens; they were in crafty counsel against us. You know, envious at us, rebuilding our city, right? And so they're trying to engage war upon us. And our people were so, hey, man, the Lord put a cold spirit upon our forefathers, man. This is how this is how nation-minded our men were back then. As a matter of fact, let me skip up here to verse 14, right? Because ultimately, what we're doing, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shah, starting with Yahweh Shah's sacrifice, what we're doing is ultimately for the whole nation. Now, right now, it's for the elect, but through the elect sacrifice, just as through Yahweh Shah's sacrifice, starting first and foremost for the elect, is going to bring in, complete order and restoration for all of our people, man. But on this side is only for the elect. This is verse 14. And I looked up and rose up and said unto the nobles and to the rulers and to the rest of the people, be not ye afraid of them. You're talking about those heathens that was coming up against us as we were rebuilding. Remember the Lord, right? Remember Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shah. It says, which is great and terrible, and fight for your brethren, your sons and your daughters, your wives and your houses. And that's what we're doing now, right? What we're doing, this sacrifice that the elect is doing, the hopeful elect is doing, this is ultimately for the embetterment, of us, once again, starting with Yahweh B'Shem Shah and Yahweh Shah's sacrifice, right? So us being clothed in our right minds and not being found naked, this benefits us, and this benefits our whole nation in general, man. Right? This is as a matter of fact, let me grab this in the book of Amos, because this is the mindset of the 2/3, man. They're not thinking about, right, the embetterment of their people. Right? Amos chapter 6 and 6. Like I said, this is only for the elect on this side, but at the end of the day, it's going to bring in complete righteousness and order and harmony amongst all of us eventually. Amos 6 and 6. And this the Lord, really you start at verse 1, but I'm going to get verse 6 for brevity's sake. But he was going into, the mindset of, these wicked jakes, man. Says you drink wine by the bowlful, right? Because our people are drunkards, right? It says, and perfume yourself with fragrant lotions. You care nothing about the ruin of your nation. See that? He said, this the Lord condemning our people because of that mindset. You're not caring. It says you care nothing about the ruin of your nation. You only care about yourselves, feeding your own flesh, being indulged in luxuries and delicacies, putting on these fragrant lotions. Now, there's nothing wrong with, wearing, lotion or whatever. But he's just going into a particular mindset. They care, 2/3. They don't care anything about, like you even look at these particular so-called Black Power movements, man. They don't give a damn about each other, man. This is where the true love resides, man. Right? It says, so we're gonna go back to let's finish this out for Nehemiah 4:23. So neither I nor my brother nor my servants nor the men of the guard which followed me, none of us put off our clothes and weren't found naked, saving that everyone put them off for washing. Yeah, until it's time to wash. That's the only time they put off their clothes, man. Let's get in NLT real quick. It says, during this time, none of us, not I, nor my relatives, nor my servants, nor the guards who were with me, ever took off our clothes. We carried our weapons with us at all times. Woo, the scriptures, man. Right now, in these times, they're actually, carrying swords and spears and daggers, right? But in these times, because we know what 2 Corinthians, the 4th chapter, how the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. It says we carried our weapons with us at all time, even when we went for water, man. So let's go back to Revelation 16. We're going to read it again. We're going to go into this word watch. It says, behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watcheth and keepeth his garments, lest he walk naked and they see his shame. I'm in head garments, Salakia. And we're going to go into what these garments are. But first, we're going to finish out this word watcheth. It says to take heed lest through remission, and remission is pretty much like you falling back. You know, you taking a break. You know, kind of like if you're in a seminar, if you're in a meeting, like pretty much like at the halfway marker, they have, you know, something called remission, you know, which goes into like refreshments. You know, you're taking a break. Well, we can't do that. There ain't no breaks in this truth, man. This is a vow that we vowed into Yahweh Shema Shah. This is a marriage. There ain't no breaks in no marriage. You know, that's why all these damn divorces happen now. Mostly caused by the woman. You know, that's what statistics prove, man. Over 75% of the divorces happen because of the woman. Because what? They take remission. They get tired. So what happened? Oh, I just got tired. You know, I need a break. You know, that mindset will get you destroyed with Yahweh Shema Shah, man. He's looking for chaste virgins, man. That's going to seek him wholeheartedly. Follow him through the thick and the thin. Whether you feel good or whether you don't feel good. Whether you sleepy or whether you wide awake, you know, he's commanding us to watch and not fall. Let's see, it says to take heed lest through remission and indolence. Let's go to that word indolence. It says avoidance of activity or exertion, laziness. And that's a 2/3. It says avoidance of activity. See, a nigga wants to avoid work. And what does Paul say in 1 Thessalonians, the 4th chapter? First Thessalonians chapter 4. Is it 4:3? It's locking me. 2 Thessalonians 3. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 and verse 10. For even when we were with you, this we commanded you, that if any would not work, neither should he eat. See, if any would not work, neither should he eat. See, so imagine a nigga coming up to Nehemiah, man. We don't want to work, you know. Here Nehemiah, man, he was praying, fasting, asking Yahweh Shema Shah to give him grace to where he can, you know, commence the building. All right, but you know, hey, well, I believe as a matter of fact, was that Nehemiah chapter 8? Hey, Nehemiah, man, he went in. No, it was Nehemiah 13. Let me see. He went in on some of them Israelites, man. He talked about how he plucked out their beards. He laid hands on them, meaning he beat the shit out of them. Yeah, here you go. Let me see. This is Nehemiah 13:21. Says, then I testified against them and said unto them, why lodge ye about the wall? If you do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. There's no, oh, here we go, verse 25. And I contended with them and cursed them and smote certain of them and plucked off their hair and made them swear by the Most High, saying, you shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons or for yourselves. So pretty much, hey, man, Nehemiah was, the Lord put a cold spirit on Nehemiah, man. If you're against, you know, this order and this structuring of what it takes to rebuild, you know, the city, you need to get uprooted, man. And so the same thing, you know, in these times, as Yahweh Shah is clearly commanding us in Revelation 16, man, to watch, right? Be active. You know, go hard as you can. Because, man, Esau is going hard as he can right now. Revelation 12:12. But he sees that he has a short time. And he's coming down with great wrath upon the inhabitants of the planet Earth, man. So how much more should we? Should we go harder in righteousness? It says, take heed lest through remission and indolence some destructive calamity suddenly overtake one. See, It says suddenly overtake one. And that's how the destruction is going to come up on this place, is suddenly. Revelation 18. So let me see. I mean, that was pretty much the point. I'll get 2 Corinthians 5:3. It says, if so be that being clothed, we shall not be found naked. That's right, man. Being clothed with what? This truth. This is Job chapter 29 and verse 14. I put on righteousness and it clothed me. See, that's how, we're going to be fully clothed, is by keeping this truth, keeping the Lord's righteousness, man. Being clothed in our right, like the old expression goes in the world, you may hear your grandparents, used to say, I'm clothed in my right mind, Well, that's what it, means, by not being found naked in truth, meaning that you stay clothed in your right mind, putting on the mindset Yahweh Shai had. 1 Peter chapter 4:1. It says, I put on righteousness and it clothed me. My judgment was as a robe and a diadem. That's right. So we'll get one more and wrap it on out, man. Points made, but I just wanted to go into something brief this morning about, just staying alert. There's a lot of things happening. You got to stay alert and keep this truth near and dear to us, man. Keep this sword and this shield of faith near and dear to us. Baruch 5 and verse 1, it says, put off, O Jerusalem, the garment of mourning and affliction. See, and this is what the gospel, the good news, right, enables us to do. All right, the Lord's going to trade us, our ashes for beauty, our mourning for joy, right? And we're putting off the mourning and affliction, man, as the Lord is taking off this captivity away from us, man. It says, and put on the comeliness of the glory that cometh from the Most High forever. And it starts with this truth, and is eventually going to spring forth into what? Glorified bodies, being at one with Yahweh Bashmal Shah, dwelling amongst Yahweh Shah, man. Like we're about to, bro, you got to envision, bro, like we're really about to be right next to Yahweh Shah, bumping shoulders. Like imagine bumping a shoulder with Yahweh Shah, bro. That's what this truth leads up to. As long as we keep it, man, we're actually about to touch Yahweh Shah. It says, verse 2, cast about thee a double garment of the righteousness which cometh from the Most High, and set a diadem on thine head of the glory of the everlasting. And what's a diadem? A diadem is a crown. And what's our crown? Wisdom. Wisdom Psalm in the 6th chapter, which the root of wisdom is what? The fear of the Lord. So, like I said, I just wanted to go into that this morning, man. Just want to comfort and exhort, you sincere Akia, man. And continue to push. We almost about this thing, man. Like, straight up. I mean, y'all seeing what's happening, but I got another lesson I want to do later on today, Lord willing. Shabbat comes in tonight, so I want to, do that. But that's the point. Lord willing, y'all was edified. Until next time, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the apostle and elders of Great Millstone, DTA Baba Ball, Kwame Sharala, Shalom.